Bienvenidos a Playa del Carmen, México. ¡Vámonos!
If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, like, and share so we can continue to provide you with the best in travel tips, news, and information. Today, we're going to look at the beautiful city of Playa del Carmen, Mexico, nestled in the Yucatan Peninsula, located just below Cancun and above Tulum, and often referred to as just Playa. Tip 1, the weather. You can't get much better weather than this year-round. Okay, it can get a little hot in the summer, and it does have a rainy season, but we'll dive a little deeper into that in the next tip, which is tip 2, when to go. Fortunately, we've been lucky enough to travel to Playa quite a few times, so we've been able to experience both the high season and the low season. And even during the rainy season, you're not going to get rain all day for the most part, and you will get some choice hours of sun. And don't pay too close attention to the weather forecast. It might say rain all week, and that's not necessarily accurate. Also, the summer season can get a little busy as many kids are on summer vacation. Tip 3, how to get there. Most people will be flying into Cancun International Airport. It's just the most convenient and easiest way to get to Playa. We also did a review of the Mirror Lounge in the Cancun airport. We'll list it below. Now, some people might want to travel into the new Tulum International Airport. Maybe you got a cheaper flight, or it just works better with your schedule. There's also the Cozumel International Airport. Now, most people probably won't use this unless they're splitting the time between Cozumel and Playa. Tip 4, how to get from the airport to Playa. I think we've used almost all these options, except for maybe the taxi. But we find the ADIO bus convenient, inexpensive, and quite comfortable, and they even have a clean bathroom on board. We have a video coming out on taking the ADIO bus. We'll add the link below. Okay, now a few thoughts on driving in Playa or in Mexico in general. First off, if you get pulled over for a traffic violation, remain calm. Unfortunately, the police officers in Mexico are woefully underpaid, so you should be able to come up with some sort of agreement on the spot to take care of the violation. Okay, moving on. Now, throughout Mexico, they have these speed bumps. During the day, they're pretty easy to see, but sometimes not so easy. Is that a shadow? Is that a speed bump? So keep an eye out. And at night, a little more difficult. You usually don't see them until you're already on top of them. So just be aware. Tip 5, where to stay in Playa. Now, there's quite a few different neighborhoods in Playa, but we're going to focus on where the travelers and vacationers might want to stay. First up, Quinta Avenida. You might want to stay close to where all the action is, the famous Playa 5th Avenue. If you want to stay a little bit off 5th Avenue, where it might be a little quieter and a little bit cheaper, you can check out the El Centro neighborhood. And if you're looking for a nicer resort for you and your family with great beaches, you might want to take a look at Playa Car. Now, Mayakoba is great for families and couples looking to get back to that nature/luxury feel with magnificent beaches. When traveling to Playa, we usually split our time between staying with friends and staying at an Airbnb. We usually like to find a place that's within walking distance to the beach and 5th Avenue. What we usually look for in an Airbnb is location, a place that's clean, has a comfortable bed, and enough hot water for at least 2 showers, and also a pool to cool off in between the times when we're not at the beach. Just remember, if you're getting an Airbnb, to read all the reviews, even the negative ones, just to make sure you're getting the right place, so you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the beautiful Playa night. Tip 6, getting around Playa. Now, Playa is an extremely walkable city, and since they don't have Uber, you might have to take a taxi, and the taxi prices seem a little inconsistent, so make sure you agree on a price before you get in, and you usually get the tourist rate, which is typical in many cities around the world. Next up, tip 7, La Quinta Avenida, the famous Playa 5th Avenue. I've been coming to Playa for quite a few years, and 5th Avenue always seems to be expanding, growing. There always seems to be a new and interesting bar, restaurant, shop. Now, a word about the shopping. Playa used to be this bargain paradise, but not so much anymore. You kind of have to search for the bargains. And some of the salespeople on Fifth Avenue might be a little pushy. So if you're not interested, just say no thank you or no gracias and move on. Now Fifth Avenue is a little busy during the day, but when the sun goes down and the cool night comes in, that's when this avenue really starts to shine. Everyone seems to be out on Fifth Avenue at night for dinner, drinks, dancing, shopping, or just people watching. And there's no shortage of places on Fifth Avenue. You could find a nice restaurant or bar to relax and have a drink in. And what's cool, there's always live music playing up and down Fifth Avenue. And you could always find a place to go dancing as well, or a sports bar to check out the local game or match. And who can forget the old standby, Señor Frogs? There's a few locations in Playa, which is still a fun place for groups and families. And we always seem to try to find a place that's new and interesting to enjoy the Playa night. Tip 8, let's look at a few of your options to buy groceries and alcohol. Here's a short list of some of the main grocery stores and liquor stores around Playa. So if you're staying at an Airbnb and you need to stock up on some food and beverages, or you just need some snacks and drinks for the beach, now the prices for items locally manufactured are pretty good. The imported stuff, usually not that great. The good thing is, these mega shopping centers have a lot to choose from. You can usually find whatever you need. And what makes these big shopping centers even more convenient is they usually carry beer, wine, and liquor, and they usually have a bathroom for your convenience. And if you're on your way to the beach or it's late night and you need a few beers or snacks, there's a convenience store located, conveniently, on almost every corner of Playa. Tip 9, restaurants. And there is no shortage of restaurants throughout Playa, but let's take a look at some of our favorites. First up, Aguachiles. They have a few locations, and we've been coming here for years. We first started coming here because it had really good food, and it was pretty inexpensive. Now, the food is still really good, but the prices have kind of caught up with the rest of Playa. It still has that open-air, comfortable, laid-back feel with a great selection of seafood, among other options, on the menu. Aguachiles is usually our first stop when we arrive in Playa for a good meal and a few beers. But today was a little extra special, as it was Lily's birthday. We got a song for a price. ¡Feliz cumpleaños! So if you're looking for a place with a chill vibe, some really good food, grab a few beers and hang out at Aguachiles. Our next restaurant is Las Hijas de la Tostada. This seafood restaurant also has a few locations around Mexico. For today, we stopped by the one on 5th Avenue at 38th. They have some seating indoors as well as plenty of seating outdoors, so you can enjoy your meal and maybe a few beers while people watching on 5th Avenue. Now, let's take a look at the menu. They have a large selection of food and drinks to choose from. This menu pretty much covers the gamut. It's got a little something for everyone. Now, let's take a little look at some of our food choices for this evening. And as you can see by the bill, the prices are pretty reasonable for the amount of food you get, and they're even kind enough to give you tip suggestions. We opted for the 20%. As you can see here, they have locations all throughout Mexico. So if you're looking for a place to grab some great food along 5th Avenue and maybe do a little people watching, stop by Las Hijas de la Tostada. Next up, we have more of a local place, La Sirenita. It's a little bit off 5th Avenue. This is authentic Mexican food, and I believe it's still family-owned. and you get some real quality Mexican food. And what I like is the place feels authentic. It doesn't have that touristy vibe. A place where you can come in, relax, and enjoy some great food, or take out like we do every once in a while. But let's take a closer look at some of the items on the menu. As you can see, they have a large selection of seafood delicacies to choose from, and the portion size compared to the price makes this place a great bargain. Just take a look at some of their delicious dishes. So if you're looking for a place with an authentic local feel, away from the crowds on 5th Avenue, or if you want to take out some food, check out La Sirenita. So you're not in the mood for Mexican food tonight? Let's check out something a little different. Why don't you try Salento, some authentic Italian cuisine? We met the owner here. He speaks Italian. That doesn't necessarily mean this is a great Italian restaurant, but in this case, it is. Let's take a quick look at the menu. And we've tried a few different dishes here, and they've all been really good. And as far as drinks, they have beer, wine, liquor, specialty cocktails to quench your thirst. And word around town is they have the best wood oven pizza. But the last couple of times we were here, we opted for the pasta dishes, and we chose wisely. We usually pair that with a specialty cocktail or a bottle of wine, depending on the occasion and our mood. During holidays and the high season, the place can get pretty crowded, so you might want to make a reservation. We've been here for both a New Year and birthday celebration, and they always take care of us. So you're in Playa and feeling like a little authentic Italian tonight. Take a stroll over to Salento. You won't be disappointed. Next up on our list, Isla Vagabunda. Now there's two locations in Playa, one on 5th Avenue and the one here off 38th Street, a few blocks from the beach. It's got a very tranquil and chill vibe and some parking out front just in case you decided to drive. It has a big open dining area, and I like when they have those fans going. It keeps you cool and keeps those pesky flies away. We enjoy this place to grab our somewhat late breakfast. This restaurant is not only a breakfast place, as it serves food all day, and they also offer you this bottomless drink special for 2 hours, if that's your thing. And I really did like their salt and pepper shakers. Nice touch. Now let's take a quick look at our food for this morning. The food was fresh, healthy, and quite tasty. And I thought the food presentation was rather nice. And just in case you wanted to add a little more heat to your day, you had plenty of choices. And you also have the pleasure of enjoying your breakfast while listening to some live music. This band was solid. I believe the last set was light rock songs from the 70s and 80s. And as you can see, the prices weren't too bad, pretty typical for Playa. Now I tried to pay with my American Express card, and it didn't go through twice. Had to use another card, so just be aware when using your Amex. We think breakfast at La Vagabunda is a great way to start your day in Playa. Moving on to the next restaurant on our list, La Cueva del Chango. It has this kind of Oasis jungle vibe going on. I kind of like it. Most days this restaurant is open all day, but it is very popular for brunch and breakfast, as we had to wait about 20 minutes to get our table. But the service staff was on top of their game as they kept everything well organized. As you can see, when you walk inside, you're in this sort of indoor-outdoor dining space with this jungle-type motif. And I really like the fact that they have an open kitchen. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like an open kitchen. I can kind of see what's going on. Okay, back to the restaurant and looking at a few interesting design elements they have. As you can see by the big board, they provide exchange rates for the US, as well as Canada and the Euro. All right, let's move on to why we're here, the food, and let's take a look at the menu. I like the fact that when we got our fresh fruit juice, they put out some spices and sauces to complement our breakfast. My chilaquiles was delicious, and look at all that fresh avocado. And as you can see by the bill, the price was very reasonable for what we got. I think La Cueva del Chango is great for couples, groups, and families to enjoy breakfast or brunch in this rather cool, jungle-esque environment. Tip 10, some fun things to do around Playa, besides drinking, eating, and going to the beach. The cenotes are pretty cool, and you should definitely check out Chichen Itza, although it can get kind of crowded around the high season and holidays. And we'll add a link below to a reliable contact for taxis and tours in and around Playa. And just walking the streets of Playa, you'll usually find something interesting or at least different around every corner. You could check out a night market. And as you head down to the south end of 5th Avenue, right off the beach, you might be lucky enough to see them performing this traditional Mexican ritual. Okay, it might be geared a little bit towards the tourists now, but it's still fun, interesting, and pretty cool. And if you happen to be down in Playa towards the end of November, you might be able to catch the Riviera Maya Jazz Festival. We were fortunate enough to be there for the 20th anniversary, and it was quite an event. It's a free concert on the beach, so it brought in huge crowds and some great bands. So basically, our group picked up some beer and wine, put a blanket in the sand, found a good spot, and enjoyed the show.
Gracias, México. Nos vemos pronto. Muchas gracias.
Tip 11. Say you're looking for an adventure outside of Playa for a day or two. Here are some great options. First off, Tulum. Now, Tulum used to be this pristine oasis that not many people knew about. Now, everybody seems to. I mean, the beaches are still some of the most beautiful beaches you'll find in Mexico, but now the beaches can get a little bit crowded, and the prices for food and hotels can be some of the highest in the Yucatan Peninsula. With all that being said, I still think the beautiful beaches of Tulum are worth a visit. Next up, Cozumel. Now, most people might know Cozumel because it's a very popular port for cruise ships, but it's also a short 45-minute ferry ride from Playa. Now, many people travel to Cozumel for their picturesque white sandy beaches and turquoise water, and since it has one of the largest coral reefs in the world, it's a hot spot for both scuba diving and snorkeling. Next up, a truly beautiful island off the coast of Cancun, Isla Mujeres. Now this island is a true oasis, with its clear blue turquoise water, white fine sand, calm waves, and its kind of laid-back, chill demeanor. Couple that with some great scuba and snorkeling, and you've got your vacation paradise. A special thanks to our good friend Mary for some of these incredible island photos. Next up is Holbox. This beautiful car-free island paradise is home to a unique blend of wildlife, and one of the things that makes this laid-back island particularly unique is usually between mid-June and mid-September, you can swim with the whale sharks. Now that's cool. Now, it's a little bit of a trip to get to Holbox, but if you make it, it's well worth it. Tip 12. Yes, we are finally getting to the beaches. There are a lot of great beaches in Playa. We're listing some of the favorites here. From most of the places you'll be staying in Playa, you can easily walk to the beaches, or if you prefer, take a bike. Don't forget to lock it, and make sure you follow the beach rules. What's nice about the beaches in Playa, each one seems to have its own identity and unique character, but they all have these white sandy beaches, the beautiful blue turquoise water, and for the most part, the waves are pretty calm. Of course, you're going to be seeing people selling food along the beach. Now, you might want some, but your stomach might not necessarily agree with you. What's nice about the water in Playa? All year around, it's nice, warm, and comfortable. Although this day, I think we both got bit by a jellyfish. It wasn't too bad, but just keep your eyes out. And due to beach erosion, some of the beaches in Playa have gotten a little smaller, but there's still plenty of great beach to go around. Now, if you don't feel like lying in the sand, you want something a little more comfortable. There are plenty of beach clubs and places where you can rent chairs, beds, umbrellas, and order food and drinks as well. The beach is not only for the day, but also for the night, especially during this New Year's Eve celebration. Now, some final thoughts. Playa is one of our favorite places to go in Mexico. They have beautiful beaches, great food, and even though the prices have ticked up a little, it's still pretty much cheaper than most other Caribbean destinations. Also keep an eye on the sargassum report, that brown algae that covers the beach. It seems to start in Playa around February and peak in April and August, but I believe the government and environmental groups are looking to change that. I hope this helps you the next time you travel to Playa. Safe travels. Please subscribe, like, and share to keep up with all our latest travel news, tips, and reviews, and we do appreciate it as it does help support the channel.